Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shrimate Siraswarupananda Paramahamsa Iti Namane. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasade Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So these are the wonderful days leading up to Guru Puj, which is an amazing event for the world, really. And daily, in our different homes and centers and individual lives, hopefully we offer Guru Puj to Srila Prabhupada. And the Guru Puj prayer that we say and chant, Prabhupada has asked us to say it in the language that we speak, our native language, be it English or be it Polish or be it Russian or whatever. We say it in our language, and then, of course, we chant it in Sanskrit. And he wants us to understand what we're saying. It's very easy to learn a mantra, Sanskrit mantra, Bengali mantra, whatever. And, just repeat it on a daily basis and not really know what it means, what it's saying. So Prabhupada wanting us to know what we're doing always, not just blindly following along and, ritualistically repeating something, has asked us to repeat it in our native language. And the Guru Puj prayer was written by Srila Narottam Das Thakur, great Vaishnava poet. He's wrote many, many wonderful songs. And he appeared on this planet in 1550, which is 16 years after Lord Chaitanya left the planet. And one of the songs he wrote was JAYA, which means is the song about where have all the Vaishnavas gone? Where are all the Goswamis? Where is my Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, etc.? But the Guru Puj prayer that he wrote, has been handed down to us since that time. And as I say, we chant it daily. And you could take this prayer by Narottam Das Thakur and just go through each statement that's made in the prayer and, give a whole lecture on it, contemplating on the meaning of each statement. It's actually just a whole series of statements in that prayer. So I'm just going to speak about the first two statements, if you will, briefly. Like I said, you could spend many lectures, going deeper and deeper into what is being said and declared in this prayer. But as we all know, it starts off with, the lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. Now, that's a declaration of truth. This is not just some words. The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. There's not any other options. See, and we have to be very clear about that. There are people who think and people who teach that, you can do it another way, or you can have, many different gurus or whatever their incorrect teachings may be, But we accept Narottam Das Thakur as an absolute authority on this subject of the spiritual master. So let us always remember that there's not some other way that I can achieve pure love for Krishna. The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. See? And that's the goal, isn't it? That's what Prabhupada has always taught. That's what our whole parampara has always taught. That's what Lord Chaitanya taught and exemplified in unbelievable ways, Pure devotional service, see. Brings us back to our original constitutional position, which we've gone far, far, far away from. Now we're far away from our original constitutional position. In the material world, trying to enjoy life and be somebody other than we really are. Our false identities, our false lordship, our false, trying to be number one, the controllers, the dominators, far, far, far away. But pure devotional service is who we really are, really pure devotional servants of Krishna. That's who we are. And that's where we need to come back to. And to achieve that, according to Narottam Das, this is the only way, the lotus feet of our spiritual master. So unfortunately, it has been seen over years that people will come, seemingly accept Srila Prabhupada, maybe even become his initiated disciple, and then for whatever reason, go away, go somewhere else, thinking there's something else for me in life, something better, something more complete, something else will make me more happy. Go to other sources, of achievement, other teachings, philosophies, whatever. Mistake. Big mistake, you see. Once you come to the lotus feet of Krishna's pure devotee, never go away. Never give that opportunity up. Never give up that blessing, that complete position of absolute mercy upon us. So that's the first point. And then he continues. I bow to your lotus feet with great awe and reverence. So he introduces us to Guru Dev's lotus feet as the only way to achieve pure devotional service. And then Narottam Das says, I bow to your lotus feet with great awe and reverence. Now maybe many people have never actually thought of this, that we just can, again, even if we're saying it in our native language, we can just repeat it and go on, every day and never really think about it. Or if we think about what is being said here, I bow to your lotus feet with great awe and reverence. It might be a little bit, maybe for some people, disturbing or confusing or whatever, because it seems like awe and reverence, and of course we have heard, Prabhupada's teachings and Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada's teachings, that, we should develop this loving, intimate relationship with Krishna. And Lord Chaitanya taught that. Come to the perfection of the mood of the gopis, love and separation from Krishna. And that we've been taught by Prabhupada that, those who worship Narayan, Lakshmi Narayan, this is more formal worship, awe and reverence worship, the opulent aspect of Krishna, Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune, and worshiping them with awe and reverence. You see. And that this is, inferior, I won't say inferior. This is not the same, because it's on the absolute plane, it's all absolute. But it's not the same as worshiping Krishna, in the mood of the gopis, or, in the mood of the cowherd boys, or, the intimate, in Goloka Vrindavan, there is no awe and reverence. Krishna's the wonderful friend, the cowherd boy, the lover, the wonderful child, the darling of Vrindavan, etc., etc. And this is what we're always directed toward. You see, this understanding of Krishna and this relationship with Krishna, and this is the perfection, of relationships with Krishna. Yet here, Narottam Das is saying that I offer, worship your lotus feet with great awe and reverence. I bow to your lotus feet with great awe and reverence. So now we're back to awe and reverence. And somebody might say, well, I thought we're supposed to have, the intimate, loving relationship. But bear in mind, that the spiritual master is introducing us, taking us to, making it possible for us to achieve pure devotional service. See, he's not Krishna. He's not trying to be in the position of Krishna. He is trying to introduce us to this intimate world, of, Krishna in Vrindavan, you see. So our relationship with the spiritual master is one of awe and reverence. This is correct. This is proper. And some devotees, think they're supposed to have, that intimate Vrindavan type relationship with the spiritual master. He's my pal. He's my buddy. There's a saying that, we can just get too loose, or, forget the awe and reverence part and try to be too friendly, on a equal basis, familiarity breeds contempt kind of thing, So we have to maintain that position. That doesn't, mean we should be afraid. That's, awe and reverence is not saying be afraid of the spiritual master, but maintain the proper position. And if the spiritual master wants to bring us into a more close relationship, a more intimate relationship, an exchange on a more intimate level with us, that's his position. That's his prerogative. That's his decision. That's his mercy, But it's not our position to try to achieve that, to try to get into some, intimate connection. Some people think the spiritual master is supposed to, make us feel all warm and fuzzy and, the kind of arm around the shoulder friendship kind of relationship, Certainly, if he would desire that, he can, and it's 100% perfect, you see. But we shouldn't think that, if he doesn't do that, somehow he doesn't like me. Or I don't like this relationship because it's not, it's not the way I thought it was going to be. It's not friendly enough. It's not warm enough. There's no warmer relationship than with, Srila Prabhupada, Krishna's wonderful Vaishnava pure representative. But, my position, your position, our position as disciples and students is to maintain that understanding. My position is, please accept my humble obeisances. Please accept my head at your feet. All glories to you, Srila Prabhupada. You see, not this, trying to move up to a more equal relationship. See? And this is easy to do. We always want to rise up, when you're feeling according to Lord Chaitanya's prayer, lower than the straw in the street, it's not a problem. See, those kind of, floating up levels of consciousness don't occur, you see. But we often, don't feel, or if we ever, speaking for myself, feel lower than the straw in the street, We're always feeling, a little pride, a little, I'm somebody, I'm, doing so much or whatever. It's always the tendency, like a gas-filled balloon, to just float up higher and higher, So therefore, we have to be conscious. You see, this whole process is one of consciousness. Krishna consciousness means a lot of different levels of consciousness, and the relationship with the spiritual master, is a very, very conscious relationship. I must be conscious at all times of who I am and who he is, And that prayer that we, are given to say every day reminds us of this. I bow to your lotus feet with great awe and reverence. Bowing lower down at your lotus feet, not up here, look at me, I'm a great devotee, Why don't you praise me? Why don't you, acknowledge all the hard work that I'm doing? Why don't you, glorify me? You see, many times people like to glorify themselves by, glorifying the spiritual master in such a way that it, comes back as a glorification of themselves. They're telling some story, they're doing something. They're always looking for something for me out of this. The exploitative mentality, can reach all levels, of life, and including, this relationship with the spiritual master. It can be very subtle. It can be almost unrecognizable, almost, unknown or actually not known, consciously, but it can still be there. So we have to be very alert, very, very aware, of what we're doing, you see. So when we say the prayer, this is not a mistake. This is not something that to be confused about. This is where we should remain, The lotus feet of our spiritual master is the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. I bow to your lotus feet with great awe and reverence. Awe of the wonder, the beauty, the mercy, the indescribable, personality of Prabhupada, and rever that, always keeping our head down, our hands together, heart at the feet, and we'll be fine. This is where we need to be, you see. And from there, we can be introduced to Krishna, you see. But if I'm not there and I'm always, feeling, a little bit higher, or I'm dissatisfied because I'm not getting, proper respect or recognition, for what I'm doing and so on, then this is a big obstacle, to our journey, and it makes it very difficult for Prabhupada to fulfill his voluntary commitment, if we're ready, to take us back to Krishna, you see. So these are just some things that, I was reflecting on and just thought I would mention. So thank you very much for paying attention and listening, and, we will have just a few more minutes of kirtan using Prabhupada's tune, it's to remind us of, Prabhupada, in the most wonderful way, and his personality, and just Prabhupada. I mean, what can you say? So, again, thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, our wonderful spiritual master, who's come here to give us Krishna. All right. A few more moments of chanting. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pistaya Bhutale Shrimate Sira Swarupananda Paramahamsa Iti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shrimate Sira Swarupananda Paramahamsa Iti Sira Swarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Pistaya Te Sira Swarupananda Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vatsadeva Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vatsadeva Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vatsadeva Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vatsadeva Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Jaya Guru Dev,
Jaya Jaya Guru Dev,
Jaya Srila Prabhupada,
Jaya Srila Prabhupada,
Jaya Jaya Guru Dev,
Jaya Jaya Guru Dev,
Jaya Srila Prabhupada,
Jaya Srila Prabhupada,
Jaya Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Srila Prabhupada.
Haribol.
All right, everyone. Thank you very much. Been wonderful being with all of you. Thank you. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Guru Dev, Haribol.
Oh, all
Thank
glories
you.
to the Prabhupada. Glories to Nitai Gopal. All glories to Sankirtan. Thank you so much, Sir Balakhilya Das and Chintamani team for your sweet chanting and precious time. Namaste. Haribol. Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.